This afternoon, let's explore the introduction to the book Pure Land Zen, Zen Pure Land. Originally based upon the letters of Patriarch Yin Kwang. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This afternoon we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Yoda learned to do on Dagobah under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. So a thing we'll do is hit button number 4. If at any point during this afternoon's live stream you have a question about meditation, philosophy, or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. So I'm going to read to you from this book. I'm going to start with the vows of Samantabhadra. Just a quote, just a line, one of many stanzas. The supreme and endless blessings of Samantabhadra's deeds are now universally transfer. May every living being drowning in a drift soon return to the land of limitless light. Limitless light is one of the Buddhas, this known in Sanskrit as Amitabha. So before we even do the introduction, today let's just do about the author. The life of the Pure Land Patriarch Yin Kwang, born 1861, perished 1940, which covers one of the most eventful periods of East Asia, spans the Chinese Revolution of 1911 and 2 world wars. The revolution of 1911 that toppled the Manchu dynasty and established the Republic of China also brought in its wake a number of problems for the Buddhist Sangha. Following the political revolution, and intellectual climate was ushered in that was unfriendly to the interests of Buddhism. The attack and criticism against Buddhism resulted in a number of discriminatory measures, such as special taxes and contributions being levied on temples, monasteries being appropriated for use as barracks, and police stations, tenants on temple lands being encouraged not to pay rent, and Buddhist images being destroyed, which is really quite sad. Against this backdrop, 2 monks rose to lead the resurgence of Buddhism. Master, and please forgive my pronunciation, Tai Shu, who was instrumental in the revival of the Mind-only school, and Master Yin Kwang, the latter to become the 13th patriarch of Pure Land. The monk mainly responsible for instilling new life and meaning into the practice of Buddha recitation and the chanting of the sutras was Master Yin Kwang, who good grief. After his conversion to Pure Land pietism, concentrated on living a pure religious life based on faith, devotion, and holiness. Master Yin Kwang carried on his teachings mainly in the provinces of, I have trouble pronouncing this, Kiangsu and Chikiang, where he gained numerous followers and disciples. These efforts by Master Yin Kwang and his followers brought about an extensive revival of the Pure Land school. Lotus societies, Nien Fo, Buddha recitation societies, and others of a similar nature sprang up all over China. The compendium of Master Yin Kwang's letters, excerpts of which are translated in this book, represents a broad cross-section of the master's thought and forms a prized collection of inspirational writings cherished throughout the Mahayana world. Scarcely a Mahayana temple can be found anywhere without several different editions of these letters. So quick like a bunny, I'm going to move a paperclip bookmark. Okay, so we're going to go to the preface. We'll do that hopefully tonight, this evening. That's my intention. Well, all right then. Whew. Checking the time. Brace yourself for 1 minute of, what's it called? Housekeeping. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel is... Let's try this again. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If that sounds good to you and you'd like to help out even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, simply use your smartphone's camera to capture this QR code on the screen, or simply use one of the donation links in the description area below the video. And now, let's get on with it. I think it would be fun if we chanted at least a portion of Samant Bhadra's vows. This comes from, according to one system, the 39th chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Some people call it the 39th, some people call it the 40th, tomato. Different translators, different enumerations. As many Buddhas as there may be in any world throughout the 10 directions, throughout past, present, and future, I honor them all, without exception, pure in body, speech, and mind. With as many bodies as atoms in all lands, I bow to all Buddhas with a mind directed to all Buddhas. Let's see what we have here. Let's make that 24. Will that work? By the power of the practice of good. And of course, we can do a little polite little bow right there. In a single atom, Buddhas as many as atoms sit in the midst of enlightening being, so it is of all things in the cosmos. I realize all are filled with Buddhas. So this is speaking metaphorically. I laud all the Buddhas therein, expanding in all languages, the quality of all Buddhas with endless oceans of manifestations, with the finest flower garlands, musical instruments, perfumes, and parasols, the finest lamps and incense, I make offerings to those Buddhas, with the finest close fragrances and mountainous baskets of aromatic powders, with the finest of all these ornaments, I make offerings to those Buddhas. So here's a quick tip. We chant this in terms of couplets or triplets. The first syllable we emphasize, and not the last, but the second to last we emphasize. Whatever be the best of offerings, I produce them for all Buddhas. By the power of the devotion to the practice of good, I honor and serve all Buddhas. Whatever evil I may commit under the sway of passion, hatred, or folly, bodily, verbally, or mentally, I confess it all. And whatever the virtue of beings everywhere, heroes, saints, self-conquerors, enlightening beings and Buddhas are all that I do rejoice. And all the lamps of the worlds in the 10 directions, who have realized enlightenment and attained non-obstruction, I seek as guides that they may turn the supreme wheel of teaching. Let's say, real quick, a file, save as, and let's go over here to 2023, and this is A04 April what? April. The screen's gone. I will tend to it in just a minute or two. Let's see. 6th through 10th days. And lastly, 10th Monday. Dash 10apr23C. Okay, thank you for your patience. I will now align the display. And here we go. And those who wish to manifest extinction, I petition respectfully to remain for aeons as many atoms in the land, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. So this is going to be a repeated theme throughout this text: the welfare and happiness of all beings. By honor, service, and direction, by appreciating, seeking, and requesting teachings, whatever good I have accumulated, I dedicate it all to enlightenment. May the Buddhas of the past be honored, as well as those now in the worlds of the tender. Wow, I'm having trouble with this one. Let's try that again. May the Buddhas of the past be honored, as well as those now in the worlds of the 10 directions, and may those of the future be at ease, filled with joy and having realized enlightenment. May all the lands of the 10 directions be purified, supreme, and filled with Buddhas and enlightening beings at the tree of enlightenment. May all beings in the 10 directions be happy and well, and may all beings' wretched aims be successful. May their hope be realized. As I am carrying out enlightenment practice, may I recall my lives in all states. In every lifetime as I die and am reborn, may I always transcend the mundane, learning from all Buddhas, fulfilling the practice of good. May I always practice pure conduct, ever free from defect. May I expound the teachings in the languages of gods and dragons, in the languages of demons and humans, and of all living beings. May those engage in the ways of transcendence not stray from enlightenment, and may all evils to be inhibited be thoroughly extinguished. May I traverse the paths of the world free from compulsion, affliction, and delusion, like a lotus unstained by water, like the sun and the moon unattached in the sky, extinguishing all the miseries of bad states and bringing all beings to happiness. May I act for the welfare of all beings in all lands everywhere, according with the conduct of sentient beings, while fulfilling the practice of enlightenment and cultivating the practice of good. May I thus act throughout future eons. May I always be in communion with those who share my practice. Physically, verbally, and mentally, may I carry out these vows as one practice. Now, this is important. So, this is 62 pages long, but we're saying the idea here is that we're practicing all this elaboration in a very concise, easy way. That concise, easy way is through contemplation and recitation of the invocation of the Buddha of limitless light. Let's continue. And may I always be with my benefactors, who teach me the practice of good. May I never displease them. May I always see the Buddhas face to face, surrounded by enlightening beings. May I make fine offerings to them forever unwearied. And of course, the finest offering we can give to the Buddha is simply our enthusiastic reliance upon his example and his instructions and his students. Preserving the true teaching of Buddhism, illuminating the practice of enlightenment, and purifying the practice of good, may I practice thusly for all future aeons, migrating through all states of being, having acquired inexhaustible virtue and knowledge. May I become an inexhaustible treasury of wisdom and means of mindfulness, liberation, and all virtues. As I carry on the practice of enlightenment, may I see the inconceivable Buddha sitting among enlightenment beings in lands as numerous as atoms that are in each atom. So in other words, wherever we go, there you are. Wherever you go, the Buddha nature is there. As long as we, as healthy mammals, possess a sympathetic nervous system, a parasympathetic nervous system, and an anterior cingulate gyrus, we are capable of empathy and mindfulness and the wisdom of letting go. Thus may I perceive the oceans of Buddhas and lands of all times, in each point of their 10 directions, as I practice for myriad aeons. May I ever penetrate the eloquence of Buddhas, the voices of all Buddhas which adapt to mentalities, the purity of articulation of all Buddhas by the sounds of the ocean of tones. Into those infinite voices of all Buddhas of all times, may I enter by Buddha power, turning the wheel of teaching. May I enter all the eons of the future instantly, and may I act in all the eons of all times within an instant. So here's what we're talking about. As we're sitting in meditation, centered, sitting tall, on the in-breath, asking the rhetorical question, who's reciting? On the out-breath, actually reciting Namo Buddha Amitabha, or silently reciting Amitabha, we have a sense of vague benevolence, and it feels like it's just pouring out of our pores into the infinite. That's what we're talking about here. Let's continue. May I see all Buddhas of all times in one instant, and always enter this sphere by the magical power of liberation. May I produce the arrays of all lands of all times in an atom. May I thus perceive all the arrays of Buddha lands in the 10 directions, learning the teachings of the lamps of the worlds to come. May I visit all the gods who have passed away to eternal rest. By a gold power swift and always, by the power of knowledge all signed in, by the power of practice with all virtues, by the power of universal love, by the power of goodness all pure, by the power of knowledge unobstructed, by the power of enlightenment clearing away the power of acts, destroying the power of afflictions, impairing the power of demons. May I fulfill all powers by the practice of good. The practice of good is love and letting go. Purifying oceans of lands, liberating oceans of beings, observing oceans of truth, plumbing oceans of knowledge, perfecting oceans of practices, fulfilling oceans of vows, serving oceans of Buddhas. May I practice untiring for oceans of aeons. The lofty vows of enlightenment practice of the Buddhas, past, present, and future, may I fulfill completely. But practice what is good and realize enlightenment. All who share in the practice of Samantabhadra, the sage of universal good, the foremost offspring of all Buddhas, I name them good. Pure in body, speech, and mind, pure in conduct with a pure land. As the sage Samantabhadra is named good, may I become thus equally. May I carry out the vow of Manjushri to totally purify the practice of good, Tirelessly throughout all future ages may I fulfill all those tasks. May there be no limits to practice, no limits to virtues. Persisting in infinite practices, may I know all the miraculous creations. As long as the earth exists, as long as all beings exist, as long as acts and afflictions exist, so long may my vow remain. May I give all the Buddhas of the worlds and then 10 directions adorned with jewels. Take 2. May I give... No, let's try that again. May I give celestials and humans supreme happiness for eons as many as atoms. Oh, that's the word I'm looking for. Sorry about that. That's what we call editing in real time. Okay. Those who develop respect and devotion on hearing the supreme dedication, seeking supreme enlightenment, may they be most blessed. May they abandon all evils and all bad associations, and quickly see limitless light Amitabha, if they have this vow of enlightening practice. And so, right now, this seems like a good time to take a break from chanting this and actually perform the practice. So quick like a bunny. Let's see. I probably need to push button number 9. During our inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the rhetorical question. I always get who apostrophe S and who WHOSE confused. Bear with me a minute. Let's see. Oh, right. Who's... So, Namo means homage, Buddha means enlightenment, Amitabha means limitless light. Oh goodness, here we go. Namo Muna Me Dhamma Namo Muna Me Dhamma Namo Muna Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Muna Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma. So here's the key to really bending from this. As you breathe in, you mentally recite who's reciting. As you breathe out and recite the invocation, you physically relax as best you can. That's the secret right there. Namo Buddha Me Dhamma 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 Namo Buddha Amitabha. Well, look at that. Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Amitabha Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Me Dhamma Namo Buddha Amitabha 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 Namo Muna Mi Nama Namo Muna Mi Nama Namo Muna Mi Nama Namo Muna Mi Taba. Having completed 128 repetitions of the invocation, we now continue with a silent contemplation. During our in-breath, so this is where we're going to play with a rhetorical question. We're going to divide it in half. During the in-breath, we're going to mentally recite who's reciting. And during the out-breath, we're going to mentally recite Amitabha. Now the magic lies in physically relaxing as much as you can during the exhalation. One moment. So someone asked, Space966 asked, this Buddhism is from China. That's an excellent question. So Gautama lived in what is now described as sometimes as northeast India, sometimes described as Pakistan, and sometimes described as Afghanistan. There's some disagreement amongst scholars. There is literary evidence that Pure Land practice began in India and then came to China. Having chanted, let's rest the mind with notice this relaxing. Welcome to the live stream. If you have any questions about meditation or philosophy or chanting, type your question in the chat window. And now let's continue with our chanting. May they abandon all evils and all bad associations, and quickly see limitless light Amitabha, if they have this vow of enlightening practice. Great is their gain, worthwhile their life, auspicious their birth as humans, may they soon be like the universally good enlightening being Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. May those who have committed hellish crimes under the sway of ignorance quickly put an end to them when this practice of good is expounded. Let's see here. Endowed with knowledge, distinction, and nobility, invulnerable to false teachers and demons, may they be honored by all in the triple world. May they quickly go to the tree of enlightenment and sit there for the benefit of all living beings. May they realize enlightenment in the wheel of teaching and conquer the devil and all his cohorts. Buddha knows those who hold this vow to practice good, who cause it to be told of and taught. May the fruit of the supreme enlightenment beyond any confusion. May the fruit of this be supreme enlightenment beyond any confusion. As a hero, gentle voice, Manjushri knows, so too does universal good Samantha. As I learn from them, I dedicate all this virtue. Acting in accord with the time, may I remove all obstructions. May I see limitless light Amitabha face to face and go to his land of ultimate joy. There may all these vows be complete, having fulfilled them. May I work for the benefit of all beings in the world. As promised earlier, the idea is that taking an auspicious rebirth and merely sitting with loving intent, all these vows are fulfilled. May I abide in the circle of the Buddha born in a beautiful lotus, and receive the prophecy of Buddhahood there in the presence of Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light. Having received the prophecy there with millions of emanations, may I work for the benefit of beings everywhere by the power of Buddha. By whatever virtue I accumulate, having invoked the vow to practice good, may the pure aspiration of the world be at once all fulfilled. By the endless surpassing blessing realized from dedication to the practice of good, may worldlings submerged in the torrent of passion go to the higher realm of limitless light Amitabha. If you feel I have earned it, type something in the chat window. Give this live stream a thumbs up and share it on social media. In approximately 3 hours, I intend to return for Monday's evening meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.